Hello, I'm Rick Slark of Slark Consulting Group, and welcome to another edition of the Signal Brief. Today, we're going to talk about the decline of the customer experience, why it happened, and how to fix it. So, I want to deal with a thesis. I'll lay my thesis out about this. Then, I will talk about why it happened. I will move on to the effects of it happening, and from there, we'll talk about the opportunity. And finally, we'll conclude with uh, 10 ways that an owner can fix this. So let's get right into it as we go. So here's my thesis. The research suggests that since COVID-19 pandemic, the customer experience and service consistency has declined across many industries. And rather than indicating the business is careless, the evidence points to a combination of operational pressures that seem to have made it more difficult to consistently deliver the level of service customers once expected. So let's talk about why that happened. I'm going to give you a few reasons why I think um, this occurred. First of all, is the labor shortages. 68% of HR professionals report that they continue to struggle recruiting full time employees. So, why does this matter? Well, businesses are serving the same number of customers with fewer employees, and the staff is spending more time reacting to immediate demands and less time creating memorable customer experiences. And the core idea of that is customer experience suffers when there simply aren't enough people to deliver it. Number two is employee burnout. Um, why it matters. Great customer service requires a lot of emotional energy, and burned out employees have less patience, less enthusiasm, and emotional capacity available for customers. So, the core idea here is that burnout isn't just an employee problem, it becomes a customer problem. The third reason is high employee turnover. Um, 51% of Americans right now are actively seeking another job. And why this matters is experienced employees create consistency, and constant turnover forces businesses to continually rebuild knowledge and relationships. So, the core idea here is that consistency leaves when experienced employees leave. Number four, reduced investment in training. Um, 41% of HR professionals are reporting that retraining existing employees to fill hard to fill positions. Only 41% are doing that. And why that matters is because businesses shifted from developing employees to simply filling positions. And employees will often learn the task, but they don't learn the nuances of the experience. And the core idea is that businesses train people to perform the work, but not always to create memorable customer experiences. Number five is the cost and operational pressures. Why that matters is inflation, wages, and operating costs are forcing many of the owners into a survival mode, and customer experience becomes secondary to that. So, the core idea is when survival becomes the priority, customer experience becomes a casualty. Number six, pet peeve of mine is increased automation. Uh, the research is showing that automation continues to expand really rapidly across the, especially customer facing organizations. And why this matters is technology improves efficiency, but most of the time it replaces any human interaction. I was in a like fast food restaurant recently, and they have implemented a technology screen to order your food. And so you do that, and then a employee plops down the order on the counter and runs back to the kitchen, and you gather your food, go sit down, and literally eat in this sterile, no interaction environment. It's very disheartening and very dissatisfying. And the core idea here is that efficiency improves transactions, but hospitality builds ongoing relationships. Number 7 is a shift from competing to surviving. I've talked about that a little bit, but only 23% of employees believe their organization consistently delivers on its promise to customers. And why this matters is businesses spent years trying to survive, and then many never intentionally shifted back to competing through customer experience. And the core idea here would be businesses become operationally focused instead of customer focused. And so those are some of the reasons why things have occurred the way they have. And let's talk about some of the effects of that. Some of the effects. Well, obviously, customer experience becomes less consistent, and we don't know what to expect when we go in. Is it going to be a good experience? Is it going to be a bad experience? Are we going to have to wait a long time? Is there going to be any personal attention? It really becomes hit and miss. Number 2, that creates a disappointment in the customers. Many of the customers don't become angry, they just simply leave questioning whether the experience justified the value that they received. Um, Really important. And I will say that there is a trend of some customers becoming more impatient and confrontational, and that really increases the stress on already strained employees for sure. Customer loyalty becomes more fragile. Customers become really more selective about where they're going to spend their money, and businesses become interchangeable. And then, in other words, it just doesn't matter where we go. Uh, and then repeat business becomes harder to earn. Number 4, reputation becomes more important. So customers are going to rely more heavily on reviews, referrals, recommendations because they're less confident they'll receive a consistently positive experience. So they're looking to see what other people are saying. Number 5, this reinforces a horrible cycle um, where low customer loyalty creates a revenue pressure in the business. Then the businesses reduce cost, the resources become tighter, customers experience further declines, and the cycle repeats itself. Um, Number 6, the customer experience becomes a competitive advantage. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. But basically, the result of this, as average service becomes less consistent, businesses that intentionally create exceptional customer experiences will stand out far more than they once did. And that brings me to part 3, the opportunity. So, my central thesis is the opportunity is not to simply improve customer service, the opportunity is to become intentional again. And businesses that intentionally design and manage the customer experience right now will have an opportunity to differentiate themselves because so few competitors are doing it consistently. So, this is a great opportunity for somebody that will get their head out of their ass to really begin to make some important headway, I think, and grab some market share. So, part 4, let's talk about that is how do we fix this? Well, the solution's not more knowledge, it's not another piece of technology. The solution really is very simple, and it is to start paying attention again and to be intentional and to be proud of your business. Customer experience improves because the owners decide that these things matter, and everything that follows is simply a practical way to start paying attention again. That's what I want to talk about. So, first of all, map the customer journey. Experience your business like your customer does. If you have a brick and mortar, record the customer journey from the parking lot to the exit, right? So walk the sidewalk, open the front door, visit the restrooms, walk in the stand in the waiting area, experience every touch point that a customer would. If your business is digital, become your own customer. Visit the website, fill out your contact forms, hit the button, schedule an appointment, purchase a product, read your emails. Follow the entire digital journey from the beginning to the end. And just ask a question. Does this experience feel intentional? Are there barriers? Are there bottlenecks? These are things that you need to do. A lot of times I'll have clients videotape, if they have a brick and mortar, videotape themselves walking from the parking lot into the building. And it's amazing when you videotape your establishment, what you see that you don't see with your eyes once you play it back. So number 2 then would be define the customer experience you intend to create. So what do you want the customer to feel? What do you want them to experience? What do you want them to um, to be able to take in when they visit your website or when they visit your location, or they have any interaction with you? What do you want them to feel? You need to know what that is. Do you want them to feel noticed? Do you want them to feel confident, respected, received, valued? What is it you want them to feel, and then begin to intentionally define that experience? And as you do that, would be number 3, then train for that experience. Don't just train your employees on how to perform the job. Train them on how to create the experience, how to greet customers, how to communicate, how to solve the problems that a customer may have, and how to end every interaction well. So train for the experience, not just a transaction. Number 4 would be obsess over the details. And I talked about that a little bit, but pay attention to what's going on in your business. One of the things I notice a lot is dirty windows. Like the windows are filthy, and it doesn't take much, right? It doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of effort or a lot of money. Just begin to obsess over some of these details. How do I know what I need to really be focused on? Well, you need to ask your customer, right? They're filled with information. Measure what matters. So if your customer experience matters, measure it. Track your reviews. Track repeat customers. Track response time. What's the number one complaint that your customers are giving you over and over again? What are the number one compliments you're getting? So what you measure will get discussed, and what gets discussed gets improved. So make sure you're measuring and asking the tough questions. Number 6 is just remove one friction at a time. This didn't happen overnight. Don't try to fix everything overnight. You won't be able to. It's overwhelming because of the restrictions we've already mentioned, right? Those are true and real restrictions. But look at one thing. Take the data you get from your asking your client, and just one thing at a time, begin to fix it. Begin to remove a confusing process, or remove an unnecessary delay, or one frustration that the customers are constantly bringing up is this. Fix that, and then move to the next one. It's not everything at once, but just a consistent understanding that we have some things we need to work on. Number 7 would be empower employees to care. these policies do not create memorable experiences. Your people do. And there has to be some care given and some attention given to these employees, that you trust them, that you allow them to solve problems for the clients or for your customers pretty easily. Number 8 is listen more than you ask. One of the things that I think we should all really begin to ask is not, was everything okay, but what could we have done better? What frustrated you most? What almost caused you not to come back? Asking some really tough questions and getting that data is really important. Number 9 is to lead by walking around. Don't manage from behind your desk or from behind the counter. Walk your business, observe, listen, pay attention to customers, watch their facial expressions, watch what they're noticing, pay attention to what they're doing. Great leaders and great owners will stay connected to the customer experience. And number 10, which leads me to this, is never stop paying attention. This isn't a project that you're going to do for the summer or a project you're going to do in the fall. This is something that has to become part of the business. It's a leadership discipline. You never stop paying attention to this customer experience. Stay curious, stay involved, and stay intentional. And I want to end by just saying this, that this really isn't brain surgery. It's not expensive in the most parts. It's not really complicated. It's you taking responsibility for your business. It's leadership. And as I mentioned before, the businesses that succeed over the next decade won't necessarily have the lowest prices. They won't necessarily have the newest technology. There'll be businesses that started paying attention again, paying attention to the customers, paying attention to the details, paying attention to the experience. And as I mentioned before, and I'll end with this, in today's market, attention has become one of the rarest and most valuable competitive advantages a business can possess. So pay attention and get this right.